Welcome back, friends, to CBS News 24/7. So we begin this hour following the map and the moves of candidate Kamala Harris and candidate Donald Trump, as both set their sights on the Southwest today. So Donald Trump going into his campaign events facing backlash for his comments about women that happened last night. Listen.
Whether the women like it or not, I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in. I'm going to protect them from foreign countries that want to hit us with missiles and lots of other things.
So there's his point. Now to the counterpoint. Earlier today, Harris responded to those comments. Here's her response.
I will comment on the former President Donald Trump's remark about women and whether they like it or not. And listen, it actually is, I think, very offensive to women in terms of not understanding their agency, their authority, their right, and their ability to make decisions about their own lives, including their own bodies. And this is just the latest on a series of reveals by the former president of how he thinks about women and their agency.
So let's go live to CBS News political reporter Zak Hudak. Zak, where do both of these candidates stand with female voters?
Reed, we have a CBS News poll that came out just over the weekend that shows that VP Harris is up about 12 points among female voters, while former President Trump is up about 9 points among male voters. So we have a total split here, frankly, of historic proportions. And what we're seeing is former President Trump continue to double down on male voters and try to increase his support among them. We see him almost speaking directly to them at times at rallies, while VP Harris is doing the exact opposite. She is telling women, take a look, this guy is not reaching out to you. He is reaching out to your husbands, to your boyfriends. So if you want a candidate who has your interests at heart, come and vote for me come Election Day.
Zak, a lot of celebrities on campaign stages, really, for both candidates. For Kamala Harris, Cardi B, the rapper in Milwaukee. We've talked a lot on this broadcast about the influence for celebrities, but, you know, young voters, does this resonate with young voters? Does it really translate into them going to the polls, into registering to vote, like I think the candidates would hope it would?
I think that what we'll likely see, it's too early to tell, but I think what we'll likely see is that it does help in terms of turnout for those young voters. What happens when these musicians and other celebrities do endorsements is they end up on social media one way or another. They end up on TikTok, they end up on Instagram. Right. And that is the best line that these campaigns have into these young voters. These young voters aren't watching as much linear television as older voters are. So to reach them, you need to go in through sort of a side door, and by having the hype that comes along with having a celebrity endorse you, it helps you do that.
Reach them in the palm of their hands, which is why CBS News 24/7 is streaming just like that. So Trump with rallies in New Mexico and Nevada, we know that immigration and border security continue to be top topics. Do we expect him to really hit hard on those themes today?
There is almost total certainty that he will be focused on those themes today, Reed. What we've seen him do in recent times is go to those states and use them as a stage to actually speak to other states. So New Mexico, not a state we would typically imagine that a candidate would be in at this stage in the race. But by going there, going to a border state, he's able to talk to voters in a state like Pennsylvania that has seen a major influx in immigration, a state like Michigan that has also seen a major influx of immigration. So he's going to use those states as a stage speaking to the rest of the country. Now with Arizona, there's a double-edged factor there. He's using it as a stage, but also Arizona is very much in play for both candidates. So that is very much a typical campaign stop that just has a wider impact than it would otherwise.
You know, stages are venues, and so are podcasts and radio interviews and fireside chats. We're seeing both candidates really do that a lot. We're understanding Donald Trump is going to spend some time with Tucker Carlson for a so-called fireside chat. That's happening in Arizona. Do you think the location will dictate the subject, or are they going to cover a wide range of things?
I would expect a wider range of things, but I do think there will be a focus on immigration, at least at parts of the interview. And I think that's just another example of former President Trump continuing to play to his base and to male voters. We are seeing him really not try to branch out and widen the party's tent as we get to these final moments in the campaign, whereas VP Harris, as we were discussing, is doing, frankly, the opposite, trying to reach out to Republicans and say, hey, it is okay to vote for the party that you typically don't vote for. So with Tucker Carlson, that is him speaking directly to his base again. And I think the strategy behind that is just making sure that they do turn out in full force on Election Day.
CBS News political reporter breaking it down for us, Zak Hudak from Washington. Thank you so much. Always great talking to you, Zak.